Good afternoon, Florida Atlantic, and thank you for joining us for our final episode of the semester. I'm Lili Jahromi.
And I'm Gianna Alberti. As winter break approaches, we're looking back at some of the most memorable moments from the fall semester, both good and bad.
2 months later, coastal counties throughout Florida are still suffering damages from Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton.
For many Floridians, Hurricane Helene was what some storms like Hurricane Sandy and Hurricane Katrina were to previous generations.
Our Mitchell Liswith takes a look at the lingering effects of both hurricanes.
In Pinellas County, Florida, Hurricanes Helene and Milton barreled onto Florida's Gulf Coast in October, just 2 weeks apart. Helene was a Category 3 and Milton a Category 4. From the beaches to hotels, wind and flooding has devastated the area.
There's going to potentially, in some parts, there's going to be standing water. That is difficult to navigate as it is, but to be doing that in the dark of night is hazardous. The sun's going to come out. You're going to have time to take stock of this. You're going to have time to do what you need to do.
It's devastating. I'm 45 years in the hotel business, and I've never seen anything like this.
The Bilmar Beach Resort has been damaged in previous hurricanes. However, this was the most challenging storm to fare.
The hotel itself was hit with a 7-foot wave. Took out our entire first level, our beach bar, our ballroom, our lobby, 27 guest rooms.
South of the Bilmar is Sunset Beach, where residents experienced up to 6-foot storm surge. At the Gulf Gardens Resort, once stone walls were destroyed as 140 mile-per-hour wind gusts pushed through and destroyed hotel rooms. 2 months later, many residents are still trying to pick up the pieces of what was the dream of the beach life, as FEMA and Pinellas County are providing financial assistance to those in need. This is Mitchell Liswith for OWL TV.
Thank you, Mitchell. Our thoughts are with those still experiencing the aftermath.
It's not out of the ordinary for college students to experience feelings of anxiety or depression, but what some students may not realize is that they're not alone. There are resources here at Florida Atlantic University to help students manage their anxiety, depression, and any other emotional challenges.
Huguette St. Hubert sat down with the Director of Counseling and Psychological Services to discuss what mental health resources are available for students. They also explore some tips to cope with mental health struggles.
My name is Dr. Laura DiPasquale. I'm a licensed psychologist and the Director of Counseling and Psychological Services. CAPS is the office on campus that offers mental health services to enrolled students. And we see students with a wide range of concerns from homesickness, relationship concerns, depression, suicidality, sexual assault. Really, our clinicians are very well versed in treating almost any issue a college student is going to come into our center with. And CAPS is located second floor of the breezeway directly above the food court.
Now that we are in the post-election phase and the results are in, many students are feeling different sorts of emotion, a variety of different emotions. What would you suggest to a student who's trying to refocus their mind but is having a hard time?
Thank you. It's hard after the election when people are feeling all sorts of different things, and absolutely students might be trying to focus on their schoolwork and having a really difficult time. And sometimes people set up too lofty of expectations for how they're going to respond. So I'm going to sit down and study for an hour straight. That might not be the headspace they're in and what they can actually manage at that point. And so I think setting small goals and having very realistic expectations for how someone would engage in self-care.
So in uncertain times, many students may wonder what the next few months will bring. What are some suggestions that you have for those students?
Uncertainty is hard for everybody. We often think if we know what's going to happen in the future, we can prepare ourselves for it. And so what people often do is they run through every worst case scenario. And they think if I can predict the worst case scenario, I'll actually be better off when it happens. And what often ends up happening is they spend that time worrying, wondering, creating these worst case scenarios. And in reality, that worst case scenario doesn't happen. And so they've lost a lot of time and a lot of anxiety to that uncertainty. And so what we often recommend is trying to let go of that need for uncertainty, trying to recognize when you're just ruminating in your head again and again and again, what's going to happen. And when you recognize that pattern, trying to become aware of it, perhaps take some breaths and trying to let go, recognizing that pattern you're engaging in. And sometimes just that awareness of it will help you to be able to let it go. And maybe also asking yourself, can you be absolutely certain certain about the future? Can you be absolutely certain about anything? And the answer is no.
Thank you, Huguette and Dr. DePasquale. I'll definitely be using some of those tips before finals week.
Karlee Piccola was hands-on at the big senior night football game,
which was also Florida Atlantic's last home game of the season.
Hi Owls, I'm Karlee Piccola, and it's senior night tonight here at FAU. The Owls will face the Charlotte 49ers in the home finale. The Owls will hope to capture their first conference win. This is the Owls' first game back since firing head coach Tom Herman. Tyreek Starks will also get the starting quarterback position tonight. We wish the Owls the best of luck, and we'll check in at halftime. It's halftime here at FAU. The Owls trail the Charlotte 49ers 10-16. The Owls have scored off a field goal and a touchdown. The field goal came from Morgan Torres from 21 yards out. The touchdown came from Xavier Terrell. We hope the Owls can use the momentum going into the half so they can secure the win for our Owls. We'll check in at the end of the game. Sadly, the Owls will fall to the 49ers with the final score of 39-27. It was not enough to win, despite the touchdown from Amari Hayes, CJ Campbell Jr., and a field goal from Morgan Torres. Thanks for watching. I'm Karlee Piccola.
Thanks, Karlee. That wasn't the outcome we were hoping for, but the Owls did close out their final season game with a 62-12 win against the University of Tulsa.
In other sports news, the men's basketball team hosted Florida Gulf Coast University this past Sunday at the Eleanor R. Baldwin Arena. Gianna was there for the game recap.
After 2 weeks on the road, the Owls are back at the Ellie where they'll take on Florida Gulf Coast University. The Owls finished 4th in the Shriner Children's Classic last week and are looking for a much-needed win going into tonight's game. I'll see you after the first 20. Into the halftime, the Owls led by 12 points. The game would open up with both teams exchanging baskets, but a made three by Tandy would be the start of 4 threes in a row for the Owls. FAU's 12 made threes would give the Owls the much-needed momentum going into the second half of 52-40. FGCU came out hot in the second half, going on their own offensive run. The Owls struggled to find that first half spark before Tandy and Miller hit back-to-back threes to put the Owls within 3. Tandy's 3 to tie the game with 20 seconds left wouldn't be enough as the Eagles win it at the buzzer 80-78.
The Owls came so close to victory, but the matchup against our rivals, FIU, is a chance for redemption. Let's bring the energy and rally behind the team to secure that big win.
That wraps up our final episode of OWL TV today for the semester. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to follow us on social media for updates about behind-the-scenes content. See you in 2025.
For OWL TV today, I'm Gianna Alberti.
And I'm Lili Jahromi. We'll see you next year.